Yo, what's up? I'm going to be talking about the top five players who I want to join Manchester United, and I'm going to exclude um, two players because they're rumoured already. I think it'll be a wasted spot because we all know we want these players. I'm going to sort of have these as sort of players maybe you didn't think of, um, players that maybe you thought, maybe didn't think about it, or maybe you thought of that but it hasn't been talked about, which is difficult. So if I say a name that has been talked about going to United, forgive me, because every player that's ever kicked a fucking football has been linked with Manchester United one way or another. So yeah, that's Jadon Sancho I'm going to exclude. First off, the deal looks pretty legit, to be fair, but it's being heavily talked about right now, so we all know that's definitely something that's been talked about. So I think it would be a waste to put in there. And a day Upamencano, because even though I think it'd be a good addition, that's another player that's been heavily talked about between United and City, both battling out for Dayot. I think if City got in, that'd be really, really, really fucking scary. Not for the Champions League, way banter. Bit of City banter, no Champions League, way wanker. No, I'm chatting shit. But yeah, Jadon Sancho and Dayot Upamencano would definitely be in my list of players, definitely. Um, and I'm going to base a lot of signings on perhaps other signings we could make. So, for example, number 5 is Callum Hudson-odoi. I think he would be a quality signing for us, and I hear it already. Look, he's too unrealistic. He's a young English talent for Chelsea. Now, normally, I would say you're right. That is pretty unrealistic. That's like, Phil Foden, because I would say Phil Foden. But that to me is unrealistic. The difference between Hudson-odoi and Phil Foden is, one, Hudson-odoi is not a first team player at the moment for Chelsea. Number two, Man United have a history of buying Chelsea players. Um, yes, a lot of them have been towards the end of their career, but we have had that history of buying Chelsea players who have not been in that first team position. And I think Hudson-odoi would be one of those players who would add quality to our wings, different to Martial and Rashford. And this is my thinking behind it. You have Martial, you have Rashford, you have Greenwood. They're the three choice strikers. You have Sancho on the right, you have Hudson-odoi on the left. Okay. And then if you take out Hudson-odoi, you can put Martial on the left, you can put Rashford on the right, while the other plays up front. There's a lot of room for rotation, especially the versatility between Martial and Rashford playing on the wings. And I think it would just be incredible to see the future of the um, English forwards dominating the Premier League. And I definitely could see Hudson-odoi, Sancho, and Rashford leading the line in the future. Um, sorry, another player I'll exclude because I was thinking of players we would definitely link to. I couldn't quite think of the other one, Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish, another player I'm not gonna put in this video because he also looks very close to being done. So that's Sancho, Grealish and Upamencano. But shout out to them three. I think I don't know if Jack Grealish would be in my top five, to be honest. I think we need more of a holding midfielder. We've got Paul Pogba. We've got Bruno Fernandes for attacking midfield. I think Jack Grealish should be a starter for us if he joins. So I don't know if he'd be in that top 5, probably top 6. He would be my 6th. I think. I'm thinking of positions we need. And we need a right winger, but Jane Sancho, I'm basically imagining he's already signed for us. That's the thinking behind that. Number 4, we have Harry Maguire. Eric Bailly's coming later on the season, but you never know if he's going to get injured again. Lindelof's not been that player we all hoped he would be. And perhaps he should be a player I exclude, but I can't exclude 50 players at once. I just can't. But he is a man who has been talked about for Man United before. Kalidou Koulibaly. Now, I say this because he is a target I think we could realistically get. But I think he's also a player that would cost a lot more than perhaps he's worth, which I think the board wouldn't do. But I think if you pay the right money, you'll get him, and I think that's worth it at this current moment in time. I think Kalidou Koulibaly adds. He'd be of all the Premier League centre backs. I'm trying to think of the big ones. I think he'd be the second best centre back in the Premier League, behind obviously Virgil van Dijk. And yes, I'm putting him above Aymeric Laporte, which is controversial because he's very good. I really highly rate Laporte. I was worried when he came into City at first, but he's fucked the Premier League up defensively. He's been solid. Kalidou Koulibaly. Now he offers 3 attributes to us that I feel we would need, and I think would complement Harry Maguire. He's pretty quick for a centre back, which would complement Maguire because he's not the quickest. He's strong, and he's a leader. And I think if you had Harry Maguire and Koulibaly at the back, I think you'd get a lot of talking. And we need more than one leader. Harry Maguire's definitely taken that mantle upon himself to be that talking figure, and he's really improved himself later on as the season went on. I think partnering Koulibaly would be quality for him. And if we got Koulibaly and Upamencano, I mean, you're laughing. You're talking about 3 quality centre-backs, and Upamencano can come in for Maguire and Koulibaly when one's injured or's tired or whatever. But maybe you'd struggle to get him in if he's not a starter. So, but Kalidou Koulibaly, he's quality. One of the best centre-backs in the world, definitely, right now. Number 3. Is that number? Yeah, it is number 3. So, it was Hudson-odoi, Koulibaly, bit of a big jump there. Number 3. Holding midfielder. Currently linked with Chelsea, I think, but I think would be quality for Man United. Declan Rice, again young English, which I'm sure a lot of United fans are a bit sick of, but the only reason we're sick of it is because we're buying young English that perhaps haven't got the quality. He's quality. He is quality. He is he's one of the best holding midfielders in the league. He's not a Kante or a Idrissa Gueye type player, where he's going to run 100 miles an hour and sweep the ball away and recycle the ball, play it out to the attack. But he's one of these players who is hard in the tackle, he's good on the ball, and he's a good pass. I think he's very similar to Nemanja Matic, but he's a lot more mobile than Matic. And I think he's got a lot to his game. And I think Matic later on in the season has shown his quality, and I think Rice definitely has that quality about him. And if you get the tutelage of Matic with his physical abilities that he's got, with Michael Carrick as well in the coaching staff, I think you can make something really special with him. Um, I think you could definitely see someone who will be that guardian for the back line. You know, the first line of defence before you get to the defenders. I mean, I'd you'd be really worried if you had Declan Rice, a defensive midfield, shutting everything down, and then you just get past him, and then you have to go against Koulibaly and Maguire. That'd be a pretty daunting prospect for most Premier League teams. It's a very physical defensive line. So Declan Rice, if you're paying money for him, you'd have to pay a lot, 50, 60 million, maybe more. I don't know. I think he's worth it for that money. But then you're thinking, is he worth as much as Bruno Fernandes? No, he's not. He wouldn't be that type of player. First of all, he wouldn't be that type of impact, in my opinion. Bruno Fernandes was a genius buy that everyone saw coming, and I'm shocked that no other team went for him. He'd be perfect for Man City. He'd be perfect for Chelsea. He'd be perfect for Spurs, who he was linked to, and they didn't get him. Man United got him. The struggling Man United got him, and he's lit the Premier League alight since joining, and it's exciting because if you're thinking, right, let's get in 3 years. Say we scrap Koulibaly because in 3 years he might be a bit too old, but you get Upamencano, you have De Gea in goal, you have Wan-Bissaka at right back, you have Upamencano, Maguire, Shaw, Declan Rice at holding midfield, Pogba, Fernandes, Sancho, Hudson-odoi, Rashford with Martial, Greenwood behind him. I mean, that's an incredible first 11, which we could definitely pull together. Not in one season, obviously, because we've got to follow financial fair play. We don't want to be like City. Okay, right. But you don't want to be like City, where you're banned from the Champions League and that. But you want to create that first 11 that really scares teams. And I think those three players are definitely players that can do that. Number two, this is a bit of a left field shout. That some people may think, excuse me, but hear me out. Kaglar Soyuncu. If you've seen him play, you know his quality. Is he Man United quality? I think he could be. I think he could be that quality centre back that you know we look at. If we don't get Koulibaly, if we don't get Upamencano, he's the player that I would put in. And the reason he's in front of Koulibaly, he's number two instead of Koulibaly number two and him number three, is because he's younger and he's got a lot more room. And this is sort of the way Ole's been building his team forward. It's more of a build towards the future. So some players in their prime and some players for the future. That's what Daniel James was. And obviously Kaglos Soyuncu, I think he'd be like 24 or something like that, 25, 24, 25. So he'd be around that, young to prime age group, and he'll just get better. And he's obviously shown he can play with Maguire. I mean, they've had that partnership at Leicester City, and I think that they could continue to grow together at United. I think it'd be a really good partnership. And number one. I don't think anyone else other than Jadon Sancho, who's been excluded from this, could be at this number one position, then Erling Haaland. This kid, when we didn't get him, I was bummed. I was really bummed because I thought to myself, he's gone to Dortmund, and the one thing Dortmund are going to do is they're going to develop him into a killer. And if they do that, I don't think we have a chance of getting him. He proved me right, and he was scoring. He first game a hat trick. I think he scored another hat trick in his second game, or he scored two. He scored a ridiculous amount of goals for Dortmund. I don't know if there's been a game he's played for Dortmund where he hasn't scored. Um, you know, at the young age he is, he's already got in PSG's head when he did that celebration, and then when they beat them in the second, they all did the celebration, and then they all made themselves look like Muppets. Even after a win against them, Erling Haaland is a player that changes teams. On the flip side, if you get Haaland, I don't think you need Martial. I don't. I think Martial. But the problem is, if you get rid of Martial, if Martial went to Dortmund, oh my god, Martial would be the best player in the world, because he would develop in the right way. They'd know exactly what to do with him. I feel like we're a country that's got all the oil in the world, but we don't have the right tools to dig it up, and we're just waiting to sell it to America for it to dig the fuck up and we're rich with oil, baby. That's Martial in a nutshell, in my opinion. He is oil waiting to be struck, but we just haven't got the right equipment. We're still using fucking pickaxes and shovels. Erling Haaland has already proved himself at that level, and the fact that we're being talked about and linked with him a bit, to me, symbolises that we have a chance. It feels a bit too Matthias de Ligt for me, but Jesus Christ, Erling Haaland, if he joined Man United, oh my god. I'm just thinking of all the plays Fernandes, Pogba through to Haaland would do. Oh my god. And Sancho. Oh my god. We would be title challengers if we had Sancho, Haaland, and if we just added Haaland, Sancho. We just would. In my humble opinion. How much would he cost though? You're thinking 80 million towards probably 70, maybe. If you're lucky, you can get a 70. He'd be mint. He'd be a mint. He'd be worth a lot of money. And you definitely wouldn't get all those players in one season. But yeah, that's my top 5 players I would get if I was Man United. Not all at once, but some of them are second choice options. So number 5, Callum Hudson-odoi at left wing. Number 2, number 5 Hudson-odoi. Number 4 Kalidou Koulibaly at centre back. Number 3 Declan Rice at defensive midfield. Number 2 Kaglar Sionchu, and number 1, of course, Erling Haaland. If you agree with me, fantastic. If you don't, fantastic. I want to hear people's top 5. I'd be genuinely interested to know what other people's top 5 signings for Man United would be, or if you support a different club. Say if you're a Chelsea fan, or even a Fulham fan, or a fucking Shrewsbury fan. I don't give a fuck. I want to hear people tell me what their top 5 players they would sign is. I'd be really interested to know, um, especially for a top team. So if you're an Arsenal fan, I would be in that hole you're in right now. I'd love to see what players you want to bring in to dig yourself out of it. Thomas Partey, you're linked with Arsenal fans, which I think is a fantastic signing. He'd be a good signing for United. He'd be, if we didn't get Declan Rice at holding midfield, he'd be my second choice and the more realistic choice. Um, but yeah, I'd be very interested to know. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll try and make a video every day, but yeah, I'm a bit I'm a bit shit with that. I know these videos aren't great. It's just me rambling a lot of the time and me thinking on the fly, but I enjoy just talking, especially with the lean mean quarantine about. We all gotta be safe. So yeah, have a nice day. Stay safe. Don't go changing. Don't don't go don't go change.